Hello, my name is Nicholas Watson, and today I will be doing a speech on memory, but not memory on how to remember things. While that is a big part of the word memory, today I'll be talking about um, memory, a canon of rhetoric, and why this word is so special, and why a part of so called memory isn't attached to the word is because the memory in the sense I'm talking about is to help a speaker or an orator to help them produce their speech more memorable in how to make their speech. So after they're done, the audience has a clear understanding. They know your three main points and they know your conclusion. And today I'll be talking a little bit more about that. Okay. The way that I set my speech up was to cover three main parts. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that as I go on. So, again, the memory I'm talking about isn't memory, but in the context that I'm speaking of is to make your speech memorable. So, the memory part that I'm going to be talking about is how you break down your speech, organizing your speech to make it more memorable. In the 1950s, George A. Miller suggested that 7 things can be remembered. 7. That seems like a lot of things, but when taking in a lot of new information and trying to process that, 7 becomes a huge number. So another guy came along by the name of Jean-Luc Dumont and said that people can remember 5, 7, or 9 items without organization, meaning that without a person telling you, hey, remember these things in this specific order or organize them so that you can remember them in a specific order, it will just be too much. So in the end of these two guys combining ideas, numbers, the set number or magic number is called is 7. But in turn, George A. Miller then researched and said that the three main points or the magic number is 3. That's why in the beginning I said I'll be breaking my speech down into 3 main parts. That is part 1. Okay. Part 2/3 is a speech about organizing your speech to become more memorable. And I keep on putting more emphasis um, um, on memorable because that is the main point instead of memory making your speech more memorable. Okay, as you're speaking and giving your speech, you are tapping into someone's short-term memory more than their long-term memory because after a speech, hey, what do you remember quicker? The guy's shirt or what he said at the end of the presentation, to be honest. That was a little joke for you. When we think of short-term, we think of items or I guess you could call them things such as notepads or sticky notes. So when a phone call comes in, we put a sticky note on, say, our computer camera to remind us of the important task we just had. The way you organize a speech to become more memorable is by putting it into a pattern, such as an essay. You have your introduction, your body paragraph, and your conclusion. The way that this pattern has been set up into make your speech more memorable is through essays, people returning more information. Okay, and the way that you would do this and the process that you will put this information out is to make your audience conscious aware. Conscious aware is a big main title I saw in all my research papers, and it's set to make your audience active listeners, to make them conscious about the information that you're providing them with. The way this pattern is achieved is through 6 main points: spatial, space, temporal, topical patterns, and then focusing on main points. And the reason why I cut off at 3 is because these are powerful methods to help you remember certain information and make sure that you comprehend this. And the main point that I have that I took away from these 6 main topics was temporal problem solution, because that speech has a plan of action to make it look like that you have a problem and that the speaker is trying to speak on your problem to get you moved with the speech. Another topic that I thought was a little more important to speak on was rambling. You want to avoid rambling because rambling is just spitting out more information until your audience has no idea what your main point is. So it's rambling. The last thing I wanted to talk about was your preparation outline. I got this great deal of information from the book, and what I learned most was with a preparation outline, you have your 3 main points. You break down each section of the paper with 3 main bullet points per paragraph, per page. And it's just a great way to organize your speech and bring it to your audience's attention. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my speech.